And joining us now from the Green Bay Press Gazette, you can follow him on Twitter @by Ryan Wood on the Fan Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law. It is Ryan Wood. Mr. Wood, good morning. How are we?
Doing well. How are you guys?
Oh, it was all right night. I mean, a Sunday night football game yesterday. That was crazy. And Micah Parsons has completely changed how I feel about the Green Bay Packers in about 12 minutes, Ryan.
Yeah, it didn't take long, did it?
And Ness, I think, Tommy now has 2 New Jerseys to buy because he's all in on those guys.
It took him 1 snap. He was on the field for the initial 3rd down. He bull rushes Penei Sewell into Jared Goff on 3rd and 7. And Jared Goff has no choice but to get rid of it, dump it off,
check it down
for a 2-yard loss.
Yep.
1 snap, and Micah Parsons like, hey, guys, I'm here. It's different now. And it sure was. How about this? In the tunnel on Sunday, obviously the starting defense gets announced. And Matt LaFleur had called Micah Parsons the night before the game, Saturday night, and said, hey, just so you know, it's your moment, big guy. We're announcing the starting defense. You're going to be last. Get ready. In the tunnel, Rashawn Gary pulls Micah Parsons aside, and he says, hey, just so you know, this isn't Dallas. The ground is going to shake when they hear your name. Embrace it. Because they're excited that you came.
I love it.
This is your moment. And then Gary leaves. And any other year, it's Rashawn Gary who's the last to leave that tunnel, right? He's the homegrown guy, 1st-round pick. He's coming off the first Pro Bowl of his career. He has no problem being the penultimate guy. He's just, okay, Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons follows, and Rashawn Gary was absolutely right. The ground shook, and it didn't stop for 4 quarters. It was – not since maybe early in Aaron Rodgers' career, when he was ascending to a first ballot Hall of Fame status, has there been so much hype for a player to debut their season in a Packers uniform. And Micah Parsons, on a limited snap count, absolutely met that hype. I mean, he played 29, 30 snaps.
Yep.
And he had 3 pressures, and each one of them, especially the first 2, changed the game. That initial 3 and out. And then the interception to Evan Williams. And then, oh, by the way, he gets his sack. The Packers tried to choreograph the perfect script. I mean, they announced the starting defense. They keep Micah Parsons on the field for just pass rushing situations. But even still, they couldn't have scripted it better than what it actually was.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was like, gosh, and I heard the announcers, Tony Romo was saying it why is Micah on the field still, right? Late in that game. But it's also all right, there was still a little time left, and they're going to be in passing situations. This is his time. And I kept thinking, get him some reps, right? If he's feeling good, if he's telling you back feels fine, I want to be out there, it's good in these situations for him to get those reps and get back into game shape and be out there. And then he makes that play. And it's he had to get a sack in this first game, right? It's you had to see him do that. And that is a Micah Parsons type of sack where it's he takes on a double team, he loops inside, quarterback thinks that they're free. I mean, Jared Goff set the numbers before Micah breaks out of that double team, and he comes around the corner just relentless. And it gives me chills. It was so fun to see. And it's we had some great defensive players when I was there, but I don't know if I've ever seen speed like that.
I don't think I could fall off a building faster than he went through those 2 guys. Ryan, that athleticism, it was on display all day, and everyone on the defense looked crazy athletic yesterday, Ryan. It really did elevate everyone, it felt like.
I think I saw it described on Twitter as it looked like a gazelle, like a cheetah chasing down a gazelle.
Yeah.
And that's the best way to put it. I mean, CBS was basically the Discovery Channel, and you saw a cheetah running down a gazelle. I mean, Jared Goff had no prayer to get away. Yeah. It was unbelievable the way that he closed space to the opposite sideline. And that's the thing. Not only did he beat a double team and just break through, but the sack, he lined up at right end. The sack came on the left sideline. He chased him all the way across the field, and he wasn't going to be denied. And I think that's the best way to put it, right? Micah Parsons was not going to be denied all day, and neither were the Packers. they made the Lions look like the Lions. And that's something that we haven't seen for a few years, not just against the Packers, but against anyone. The Lions, if you turn on their game against just about anybody, you're seeing them look like the better team. That's what they did
physical,
for a few years now.
dominant team. Like even, the Packers played them well last year, but Lions bring that physicality. And yesterday, the physicality for them shifted from being the more dominantly physical team to taking cheap shots and doing like little dirty things. I mean, even Amon-Ra St. Brown, like on the sideline, he punches, I think it was Valentine or someone in the face. It wasn't a stiff arm. I mean, he was just taking like a shot, there late in the game because they were just frustrated and beat down from the opening whistle. I mean, I talked about it with Tucker Kraft going at Branch and just being a bully to him, and then just kind of standing there and just being there. And then he throws his helmet, gets a penalty, and it gets that drive going. So it's like that kind of stuff. It is different, and it's fun to see now that the Packers are that team that are going to just bring that physicality and that dominant performance. And now one of Tommy's favorite guys, Van Ness, I will say, like right here on live radio, that like he might have been the most dominant player on that defense yesterday. Like he was the most dominant player on that defense.
And Micah Parsons has been singing Lucas Van Ness's praise since he got into town. He did it during the week, and he did it after the game last night. Officially, that package where they have Lucas Van Ness, a defensive tackle, and Micah Parsons, Rashawn Gary on the edge, they call that package Cheetah. And I asked Micah Parsons, how do you like that package? And his face lit up, and he's like, oh. And he just could not say enough good things about Lucas Van Ness. Said he's the ultimate selfless player. Compared him, he said he could be a Cameron Wade or Mason, guy you know very well, Julius Peppers, because he's a 4-5 guy. He said it's time for him to show that. There's so many things that Lucas Van Ness can do well. He is versatile enough, obviously, to drop inside. So you look at a defensive coordinator like Jeff Hafley, he's got all that creativity, and it took us all one game to see some of that, right? And this is just the tip of the iceberg, but part of that is getting those three guys on the field together, and good luck blocking that, because that is a lot of speed. That is a lot of game-wrecking ability. I think you're going to see a lot more of that Cheetah package going forward.
We got Ryan Wood. He is joining the Mason Crosby Show every Monday at 9:20. He's with the Green Bay Press Gazette @by Ryan Wood on X. Oh man, yeah. So yeah, when they first lined that up, I'm like, oh my gosh, I was hoping they would do this. Like first off, and then like I go to fast forward towards the end of the game when Devontae Wyatt gets his sack. Like they mugged everybody up, right? And I love when Hafley, I love when the defensive coordinators show that, because it's like you had like 8 guys in the box, and then they drop out 3 or 4, and it's like you don't know who's coming. And Devontae Wyatt just finds a seam. The Lions' offensive line looked lost most of the game. Like they were not the Lions' offensive line that they have been in the past. But talk about like that. Like you replace a Kenny Clark. You get Devontae Wyatt, you have Wooden in there, like what those guys showed as well, because they're going to be a huge role in our pass rush and what this Packers can do on defense. And I thought they had exceptional games as well.
Yeah, how about Colby Wooden having the best game of his career in his first game in this elevated role with Kenny Clark no longer here? They need Colby Wooden to be what he was yesterday, which was 6 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, a monster in the run game. And clearly, Micah Parsons has something to do with that, because on his second TFL, Micah Parsons got a double-team block, and Colby Wooden got nobody. And when you have nobody, you got to go make a play, and Colby Wooden did to pin the Lions right on their goal line. But I asked Colby Wooden after the game, since the trade happened, there's been 2 talking points. The first, holy crap, Micah Parsons is here. And the second is, okay, Kenny Clark's not here. What about the run defense? Like, how's that going to work? And I asked him, did you take that personal? And his face lit up. And he's like, oh, yes, I did. And not only did he, but Colby Wooden got a phone call from his father, who is a truck driver. So he spends a lot of time in a vehicle listening to sports talk radio. And he was hearing the talking points. And he calls his son. And he says, shut him up. Go out there and shut him up. And that's exactly what Colby Wooden did. Because if that's what Kobe Wooden's going to be this season, the Packers aren't going to miss Kenny Clark as much as maybe we thought they would, because he was dominant in the run game. So I think it's very significant. The biggest surprise that we saw yesterday was not that the Packers pass rush had their way with the Lions offensive line, because I think that's you bring in a Micah Parsons, that's what we expect to see. It's that the Packers held the Lions to 46 yards on 22 carries, less than 3-yard average. Yep. And that's the Lions. They run it on everybody. Even they're the one team, like you want to take the run game out of the equation, get an early lead, and that's how you do it. But even the Lions, you can get an early lead on them. They're still running the ball. They run it in any situation on anybody, and they couldn't run it on this Packers defense. That was a profound way to pass an opening test.
Ryan Wood of the Green Bay Press-Gazette joining us here on the Mason Crosby Show. Tommy Wirtz in as well. Ryan, we've been with you now for a little over 10 minutes, and we haven't even talked about Jordan Love this entire time. And Jordan Love, like the second half, the Packers had a completely different offensive approach, right? Jordan Love yesterday in that first half, like that was MVP level play out of Jordan Love. And to be able to spread the ball out, everyone wondering, like, is he going to be all in on Matthew Golden, or is Romeo Doubs his best friend and he won't pass to anyone else, right? But like 10 different receivers on 16 completions, like that doesn't even happen in the NFL, Ryan. Like, how impressed were you with Jordan Love's performance yesterday?
Yeah, the Packers passing game was exactly what they wanted it to be. And the one word that you can always use to describe their passing game is egalitarian. They spread the love. They throw it across the yard. They take what the defense is there, and they don't care who they throw it to, just whoever's open. So 10 targets got a catch, 5 targets got multiple catches. That's what the Packers want to be. At his best, Jordan Love, and I'm talking down the stretch, last 2 months of 2023, he is automatic on third down. Like he plays at his best on the most critical down. And that's something that we saw dip last year. Jordan Love in 2024 was not Jordan Love in 2023 when it came to third down. It was back, because his first 4 throws on third down yesterday, he completes all 4 for 66 yards and the touchdown to Tucker Kraft. It's like and these were
throw to Kraft was special. I mean,
he drops it on the dime. These were third and longs. These were not third and gimmies. And Jordan Love was automatic to start this game on third down, which is what he is at his best. I thought you saw a very comfortable quarterback. We talked about it after the trade, how in a way, not in terms of, okay, Jordan Love's a quarterback, it's a quarterback-driven league. He knows that he has to play well for the Packers to get to a Super Bowl. That pressure doesn't leave. But in terms of the actual game management, snap to snap, week to week, bringing in a Micah Parsons, and you have elite talent on all levels of your defense, having Josh Jacobs behind you, having that offensive line, which gave Jordan Love all day, anytime he dropped back to throw the football. The offensive line, we talk about the Lions' offensive line not looking like the Lions' offensive line. The Packers' offensive line was masterful. You have all these elements around your quarterback now, and he doesn't have to go and win every game on his own. He can rely on the pieces around him and just take what's there, not force anything. The biggest thing Jordan Love did against the Lions, he didn't have a turnover. He came close, obviously, but the roughing the passer. When there wasn't a penalty, he did not come close to turning the football over, and he was dropping dimes. That was a very comfortable quarterback, and that's what every team in this league wants to have, is a comfortable quarterback.
For sure, Ryan. I totally agree with you, and I mean that offensive line they were just special yesterday. I mean, and they just did their job at a high level. And then I think you got to give Coach LaFleur a lot of credit on how he managed that game. Like, they came out in that game, they're running 2 tight end sets, like, bringing everyone into the box, and like, we will do what we said we're going to do. We're going to run the ball. We're going to do all this, feeding it to tight ends. But then it was like, then all of a sudden it spread out a little bit. And all of a sudden, it's like Tom gets out, to protect Kennard maybe a little bit. They start pulling offensive linemen and, running like more of like an outside zone type of scheme with Josh Jacobs in the second half at times. And it just felt like, I feel like LaFleur had a real good command of what he was wanting to do. And he didn't have to knee jerk at all. It was never a moment where it was like, oh gosh, all right, I got to make something up here, or we got to run a play to try to get something here. It was just like, stay with it, let Jordan Love manage this game, and then just let our receivers go do their thing. I mean, Aiden Hutchinson looked just like a guy out there. I mean, you had Tucker Kraft, Musgrave, you have the tight ends chipping him every time. Every time he got chipped, he just was ineffective. And I felt like that was a huge difference too from what I saw, was the energy and effort from the offense, defense, like what the Packers brought versus the Lions. Lions didn't look like they had that urgency and that energy and effort like I feel like they have the last couple years. So just speak on to what you thought LaFleur's, offensive kind of play calling and like what that game plan was. And do you think the Lions truly do you think them losing those coordinators now after seeing them play was a bigger thing than some people are trying to, make it out to be because of Dan Campbell?
You made the point on Aiden Hutchinson in the way that every time Micah Parsons was on the field, you knew he was on the field. His presence was unavoidable. It was inescapable. It was the exact opposite for Aiden Hutchinson. Like, you wouldn't have known he played if you weren't looking specifically.
If he didn't hit Jordan Love after that interception.
Yeah, or after the play, right? He was essentially invisible, which is really, really hard to do against an Aiden Hutchinson because he's one of those guys, and they just erased him. So, I thought you saw two teams yesterday that are in transition. The Lions' transition is having the two new coordinators. The Packers are in transition too. They've had Micah Parsons for 10 days. Yep. And when you have Micah Parsons for only 10 days and you've traded Kenny Clark, that fundamentally changes your defense in a great way, obviously, but it fundamentally changes your defense. You had two teams that were in transition, and on both sides of the ball, wherever you looked on the field, the Packers were significantly far ahead of the Lions in theirs. I think the fascinating part of this whole thing, if you subscribe like I do, that coming into the season, there's three teams in the NFC. There's a triumvirate at the top: the Eagles, the Lions, the Packers. The Packers just did that to one of those teams. Yep. And that's just the beginning. How much better could this actually get? I think you have to be wondering that, right? And Micah Parsons after the game was like, this just scratching the surface. There's so much more that we can do, because he got here a week before the season. He didn't have all off season to practice and get better with these guys. Yep. That's happening now. So where's the ceiling here? It's substantially high. Matt LaFleur could not have handled yesterday better. The best decision he might have made was to have the starting defense announced, because my goodness, that juiced the crowd when Micah Parsons came out.
Right.
The one challenge that he lost, I had no problem with that, because you're taking a first down and getting the chance at a potential 3rd and 12.
So you're the one advising Matt LaFleur all these years on challenges,
you're the one that
Ryan.
called him.
That's who it is, right? So now we're all mad at you because, I mean, Ryan, it was who is it, you don't have to out him. You don't have to out this person. But I will apply for that job. Give me a video, right? Give me the iPad.
Don't
and
challenge
I'll be
that one.
Yo, Matt, do this, don't do this. Because it's just every year. That was when I was like, wow, Packer football's back. We're out here losing challenges.
Ryan, do you think this though? I didn't like the challenge because it was clearly a catch. But is there something to be said? Lions they didn't have anything going. And it's all right, you challenge that, it just stops any momentum, right? It stops any rhythm that they might have just gotten from making a play there. And so in that timing, I could see it as that, where it's you're calling a timeout and you're kind of just stopping. You're just killing all of that juice that might have come from making that catch just by challenging it. So if that's the case,
decision. And I thought it was close. Now, it was a catch. You see it on replay. It was a catch, but it was close. Yeah, I had to see it a couple times. And so it's a split-second decision, and the risk-reward, okay, you lose your challenge, you lose a first-half timeout, but that's a first down that you might be taking off the board to set them up with 3rd and 12 and bring in Micah Parsons to rush Jared Goff. I thought the risk-reward was there, considering that 3rd and 12. I had no issue with that split-second decision. It wouldn't. If you're wrong there, the risk, it's not going to wreck your game. It's not going to be this massive momentum change for the Lions. So I had no issue with that. But one of the things the Packers offense did yesterday, they had a lot of 2-man routes. I mean, they were intent on protecting Jordan Love, keeping his jersey clean.
Yeah.
And what did we see last year? Is there any doubt now that the injuries, the leg lower half injuries might have had a little something to do with Jordan Love's inaccuracy? Because this is a healthy quarterback now that they protected, gave all the time. And his accuracy looked a lot more like 2023 than it did when he was injured in 2024. If Jordan Love came into the season wanted to show, hey, that wasn't like me at my best because I wasn't healthy, he passed that test. So they were intent on protecting him. The Lions were obviously wanting to load the box against Josh Jacobs. Matt LaFleur did not force it. He was like, okay, you want to do that? We'll just air it out, and we'll have Josh Jacobs pick up pass pro, and we'll max protect our quarterback, and we'll beat you in the air, and that's what they did.
Ryan Wood joining us here from the Green Bay Press-Gazette. Ryan, what are you looking forward to tonight? Monday Night Football, big game for Minnesota and Chicago. Like, after Green Bay handles Detroit like that, what about Monday night?
Yeah, it'd be really interesting to see that Bears offense with Ben Johnson, right? Because it sure seemed like the Lions missed Ben Johnson yesterday. That spark, that creativity in their offense was not there. Did that leave and go across the NFC North to Chicago? I think that partnership between Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams, that debuting that for the first time against a Brian Flores defense that is plenty creative with its blitz scheme itself, that's going to be a hell of a test. I'm very curious to see how that's unveiled.
Well, Ryan, thank you so much for jumping on today. You'll be with us every Monday. Plus, I know you're going to do hits with Thunders on Thunder Middays tomorrow. And what day is it with Sparky again? Now he's going to be mad. I forgot that one. Thursdays, I believe. Fridays. Okay, perfect. So, Ryan, you're going to be seeing a lot more, hearing a lot more of Ryan Wood. Follow him on Twitter, @ByRyanWood. Thank you so much for jumping on. We'll do it again next week, Ryan.
All right, take care, guys.
There he is, Ryan Wood, Green Bay Press-Gazette. Follow him on Twitter, @ByRyanWood. Mace, we got to hit to a break here. On the other side, we'll just keep talking about the Packers because it's all Packers all the time.
Yep, all the time, Packers until well, I guess we have Drew at 10, right?
We do. We will hit with Drew at 10 still. So we'll
still talk about the Packers.
But I mean, green and gold Monday for a good reason. It is the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM. The Fan on the free Odyssey and iHeart apps.